Well, so we have to do the newspaper. So we have Daily Graphic here, and Mama V will start with the Daily Graphic.
Front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. It's got, I have not taken bribe, Osei Owusu tells ad hoc committee on bribery allegation. That's the banner headline in the Daily Graphic newspaper. Also, threat to succeed is treasonable, according to Dr. Lecha. We'll come to that in a bit. Keen contest for regional reps on Council of State today, and Mr. E.T. Mensah is there. Dr. Ni Kote Jani, Bafo Osei, Sherman Bretu, the 6th, Dr. Ato Esuman, all featured on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. But let's go to page 16 and bring a little understanding to what Dr. Lecha is saying there. It says, the activities of a group of citizens in the Volta region agitating for the secession of the region from Ghana is treasonable and should be dealt with by the national security apparatus. That's according to the Volta Regional Minister Designate, Dr. Archibald Yao Lecha. And he said the actions of the Homeland Study Group Foundation, which is based in Ho, endangered the country's security and needed to be nipped in the bud. Very, very interesting comments coming through there. You can continue to read, and it's got different angles to this conversation captured by the Daily Graphic newspaper. Back on page 3 with Mr. Joe Osei Owusu's appearance before the ad hoc committee yesterday, the Joe Gati-led 5-member committee, and the story says that the chairman of the Appointment Committee of Parliament, Mr. Joseph Osei Owusu, has denied taking any money from the Minister Designate for Energy, or now who is the substantive minister really, Mr. Boakye Ejiakor, to facilitate Mr. Ejiakor's approval by the committee. He's also denied receiving any money from Mr. Ejiakor for the Minority Chief Whip, Alhaji Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, to be given to the minority members of the Appointment Committee to facilitate Mr. Ejiakor's approval. And you can continue to read the rest of it in the paper. Back page though, other group to replace school block that killed 6. And it says that a Turkish construction company, Ada Group, has offered to construct a 3-unit school block at Bremen Jamra in the central region to replace the dilapidated classroom block that collapsed and killed 6 pupils on the school. And you know, just when we're rolling to that story filed by Justice Baidu on some of the injured school pupils, you know, we got a break in transmission. So we'll bring that back to you in the course of our programming today. But it's a good thing that this Turkish construction firm is doing to build a brand new classroom block for these pupils. That's the way we do it. All right, Roland?
So we have the Ghanaian Times there. It has on the front page, OT region is not politically motivated, and it's coming from the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Lecha, who appeared before the Appointment Committee. And talking about the Appointment Committee, just right beside the picture of Dr. Archibald Lecha is the chairman of the Appointment Committee, Joe Osei Owusu. Joe Wise appeared before the investigative panel or committee on the allegations of bribery on the activities of the Appointment Committee. Very interesting as it is. On the main page, we have Ghana, UK to boost trade ties. So those are the stories we have. Back page, we have our Raid Accra of Filth, Ishmael Ashite, Greater Accra Regional Minister and Designate. Very interesting. We'll see how that goes.
All right, let's do the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Council of State elections, 109 to contest. Oldest is 84 years and the youngest is 23. Are you using an official car? Then check the list of check the list of cars. Okay, so let's go to 6, 7, and 9. The Daily Dispatch is kind of advertising, is it? Vehicles that are government owned. Let's see. I'm a bit curious. Page 6. Oh, okay. So NDC provides details of 643 vehicles, 7 ambulances, 4 motorbikes, and 2 tankers. And they tell you the conditions that they left those vehicles in. It's all captured here in the Dispatch newspaper. And it says to be continued. Wow. I mean, 643 43. That's a lot of vehicles, so definitely to be continued. But if you're driving any of those vehicles, they're asking you to check so that you are double sure you're not using a vehicle that's supposed to be parked in the Flagstaff House. That's it for the Daily Dispatch. We'll undo the Daily Guide.
So we do the Daily Guide. On the front page of the Daily Guide, we have Ayariga bribe cooked, says Osei Wusu. Bawumia petitioned over 4.6 billion Ghana cedi Bank of Ghana deal, and Turkish group rescues Bremang Jamra School. And interesting. Yonkupa Koko sets record straight. And those are the stories we have. In the center spread, I will contest for MP again after Salinko. It's in the center spread.
Let's do the BNFT, the Business and Financial Times. Inflation hits 37-month low, drops to 13.3%. To spend or not to spend, that is the Heritage Fund questioning. Transit trade figures pick up. Back page of the BNFT, Eastwish patronage grew by almost 140% last year. Glow introduces Talk More Flexi Recharge other products. And the new national airline, Air France, KLM, hints at future partnership. These are the headlines. Front back page, the Business and Financial Times newspaper of today. We'll end with the Finder, the Business Finder newspaper. 2017 budgets must reduce cost of doing business. Economists, businesses tell governments. Oil to end year at $57. That's a forecast. Also, government to review Petroleum Act. That story, page 3 in the Business Finder newspaper. Story says that Senior Minister Yao Osafo-Maafo has announced, so it says that government will soon review the Petroleum Act to make it possible for it to use the Heritage Fund for key developmental projects. That's generating a lot of debate here in our country, to use or not to use. What are the risks associated with using? Are we just saving money and not using it for anything? Is it just sitting there? People are having their views on this. So that's it for the Business Finder newspaper, really. Okay, I thought it was my 10 Ghana. Let's do the online review, but maybe before that, could
Let's
you
do
just
a little money moment. And so
we're saving money in our little box here on the show.
We hope you're doing it at home too, wherever it is that you are, whether it's in your office or where you get interactive with people in your community. It's just to encourage you to put something aside, but that shouldn't be your main saving habit or what you invest in as a person.
Yeah,
you can invest in insurance policies or perhaps also other products. We hope that you will do that. Take pictures of this, tag us on your Facebook page, and we will be happy to see you in that mood, be in a good mood of saving. Okay, now let's do the softness of the news, and we do the online portal. We go to myjoyonline.com.
Okay, looks like we're going to start with City FM Online, all set for Council of State elections today, according to the Electoral Commission. Ghana's soldiers in the Gambia to be downsized. Comes with a picture of the defense minister there. Also, $300 million Heritage Fund, not enough for free SHS. Bribery scandal, Osei Wusu telling malicious lies, according to Okujeto Ablakwa. This is taking a whole different twist.
Yes, it is.
And I'm beginning to, even though I wanted this public hearing, I'm beginning to think, was this a good idea? Because, you just have somebody come to say, I didn't say it, I said it, like some school children. He told a lie. He said, I told a lie, I didn't. Like some way. I mean, and these are honorable members of our parliament.
Are. Sometimes it's perplexing or perhaps baffling for you to be witnessing some of these difficulties that some members of parliament or those who are expected to be heads of political positions tend to go through.
Yeah, it's true.
We'll see how that goes.
Okay, so we're back on myjoyonline.com. NPA refutes imminent fuel shortage claim. So they say we're good to go for like 2 weeks and there won't be any interruptions. Air pollution emergency in Nigerian city. You can read about it, the city of Port Harcourt. Also on the page this morning, creating an excellent service delivery culture, the service leaders role part 2. If you're a service provider, I guess you can read. Bimbala conflict, ONEP urges strict vigilance by police despite stability. Fuel shortage, okay, that same story here. You will be sacked if student fail BECE. WASI, Education Minister warns school heads. Now, this is a story I want us to open up and share in detail for you, really, because this is the kind of thing that we're looking at. And we are not, Honorable Minister, we're not just looking at you saying it. We want to actually see you take an action. And it says Education Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh has warned that basic and second cycle school heads who record 90% or more failure in their final exams will be sacked. He says the persistent poor performance of the students in the West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination is unacceptable, demanding that the school heads justify their continued stay in their positions. And he was addressing heads of senior high schools in Kumasi as part of a two-day familiarization tour to the Ashanti region. He emphasized that the ministry will not continue to accommodate school heads who superintend over consistent poor performance. But I tell you what, you have to put it as part of their conditions. It has to be in there. Exactly, because if it's not documented,
that if you don't achieve this target,
and I don't achieve and you sack me, they'll take you to the Labour Commission. Yeah, and it'll be like,
and
okay,
the way
you
we
said
treat
it.
the work of the public service.
Yeah.
I think it's a free-for-all till you go on pension.
So, I want to see
in
some serious
in the private
action.
sector, you'll be given a renewal of every 2 years. And it's
So
based
after
on
the 2 years, they'll go
of
back to the things that you did and say, okay, you haven't been fruitful to this company. Please, that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah? So we don't just want you, Mr. Minister, to just say all the things that you think we want to hear, which is good, by the way. But we want to see it documented so that when you sack Roland doesn't say you are, what you've done is, Roland, what's the word? As in, it doesn't agree with the terms and conditions, the reason I was employed.
You haven't met certain conditions of service.
Exactly.
In terms of your job description and meeting certain key performance index.
Yeah. So they should go back to basics. Tell the GES who engage them and let it be one of the conditions. Then we are sure that
in the public service?
Yeah, I mean, whichever way. If it was a private, but the point is that if you are heading a school, and consistently you're performing poorly, and you, the headmaster, you are still there, it's like, shame on you, really. What are you representing? Poor performance. Shouldn't you just take a leave? Otherwise, we should be naming and shaming.
I'm telling you. Oh.
Okay, let's do the final two stories on Major Online. We'll take a bow. MP's bribery scandal. I don't trust Ayariga enough
Did you listen to the proceedings
anything
yesterday?
with him. I did listen, man. I did listen. And you know how sometimes you feel like something is embarrassing, but you feel it because maybe of your closeness to
the individuals,
or like if you sometimes maybe if Ghana is misrepresenting itself because you're Ghanaian.
You kind of cringe.
Exactly. That's how I felt yesterday. It was, in some instances, shameful because it was like, you guys are adults, man. Oh, God. And I'm wondering how they're going to bring this to a close, how they're going to resolve this.
I think they will.
Because if Ablakwa is also speaking somewhere.
I think they will, but they need to be truthful too. Because sometimes being truthful gives you a certain perspective of having some introspection, and making sure that you put a close to a certain chapter and moving forward.
What do you think?
And doing forthright the next time.
What do you think Mr. Ayariga is going to say when he appears?
Look, people have their reputations on the line. And I don't think that people are just going to lie low and say, well, I apologize for all the things that happened. No, because it's their reputation against what they've said and what has been said against them. I
think the showdown really is Mr. Muntaka Mubarak and Mr. Ayariga, because I feel that Joe Wise is just in the middle. This
because
person said you did.
Because, for example, I've been reading some tweets of Kujeto Ablakwa, and you go to his Twitter handle, and over the last 24 hours, especially during the period where we had the proceedings taking place, it's not being something you can say that he doesn't intend creating, or perhaps or wants to go there.
Are you trying to pull it?
Yes.
Okay.
And just try to be as peaceful as as a politician as he can be, because at some point since 2009 he's gained some creditable experience in politics, so he can hold his own against any politician of his day.
Yeah.
So he has a certain reputation to protect. And if you go to his Twitter handle,
you have it now?
yes.
Okay.
Okujeto Ablakwa.
No, you don't quite have it.
I have it.
Okay.
So you go there and then you read some of the tweets. For example, he says,
this was tweeted when?
Yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, just go ahead. Somebody else has Okujeto somewhere.
Okay, so Roland is trying to track those tweets. We can probably just go back to City FM, Patrick. Let's just go back to City FM because they have a story on Okujeto Ablakwa. We can just open that up. There we go. Bribery scandal. Osei Owusu telling malicious lies. Let's click on it. Is it the tweet that they've taken to do the story, or he's actually spoken about it somewhere? And it says, okay, suggesting he admitted making a bribery allegation against the energy minister. Okay, so where is it? This is a quote. In the conclave, after they had shown that, hey, wait, oh. Okay, let me go down. In a Facebook post, Roland, Mr. Ablakwa rubbished the claim, saying they were just fabricated. Quotes, may it be known that the so-called confession attributed to me by Honorable Joe Osei Owusu is nothing but a desperate, malicious, and cancerous fabrication which will not be allowed to fester. According to Mr. Ablakwa, Mr. Joe Osei Owusu has been inconsistent with his account of events since the scandal. Oh, where are you? Since the scandal was uncovered. Quotes, the last time Honorable Osei Owusu made the same allegation, he hanged it around the neck of Honorable Mahama Ayariga. I guess he had forgotten to be consistent when he appeared before the special committee today. The former Deputy Minister of Education declared his preparedness to ensure the truth is established, saying, quotes, let no one doubt my resolve and the extent I am willing to go to vindicate the truth in this matter. Wow. This is one big showdown, man.
I'm telling you.
It's a party for a lot of people, but the credibility of the entire parliament is at stake in this matter. And it's interesting how other members are taken to social media, even when proceedings are ongoing, to make their side of the story known. Mr. Jogate, this is a tough one for you and your members. We'll see how you resolve this. But it's a shame, really, because we know that the 7th Parliament is just beginning. A lot of people had great expectations, obviously because there are a lot of young people in this Parliament. But it looks like there's a bit of work to be done on maturity in this sense. And we all wait to see how this is resolved. Let's do BBC, the BBC page if we can.
So let's do the
rise.
BBC page.
There's a story on Malawi, and I hope that we find the story here. DR Congo vote too expensive at $1.8 billion after several delays. An election was planned before the end of 2017, but finances put that in doubts. Okay, there's some highlights. Exiled Rio runner reunited with family. Africa abducted ex-Nigerian spy lived on nuts. Boris Johnson mocks Jammeh. Okay, he went to Gambia before he came to Ghana, Mr. Boris Johnson. And then Ivory Coast farmers strike as cocoa rots. Jailed Kenyan doctors freed. Ghana footballer Asamoah Gyan has unethical hair. And that was also one of the stories that came out yesterday. Okay, so Roland has been able to track the tweets. I'll be reading in a bit. But I'm also looking for this the Malawian president signing.
I don't think it's on the page yet. Perhaps maybe we should go to the highlight section and
okay, so we're going to look for it and share it.
Because it was in the news early parts. So.
Okay, so these are the tweets sent out by Mr. Sam Okujeto Ablakwa. And I hope that, Roland, I hope you're sure the handle that we're reading this.
The correct handle.
We don't
really, my...
Like
we follow each other on Twitter. So.
Okay, sometimes that can be possible, but there could be somebody
this is the authentic one.
Okay, all right. So this one's the first one is resolve and the extent I am willing to go to vindicate the truth in this matter. Truth stands. Honorable Mahama Yariga, I suggest he had forgotten to be consistent when he appeared before the special committee today. Let no one doubt my, and there's into bracket 3. Okay, so essentially I think this is the same thing appearing on the Facebook as well.
Page.
Exactly. These are in little bits. Okay.
Yeah, because Twitter just has a...
He's also
character.
appearing, right? He will appear, Abby?
Yes, the 3 of them. Suhini, him.
So why didn't they go before? Because that was also one of the things that came out yesterday. Because this is the accused appearing. But how about those making the allegations?
Perhaps
We thought we would hear
them first. No,
exactly.
you have to
hear them first, because what we've heard may not, those accounts could change. So why don't you let them make
I'm sure
the
the
allegation?
committee has the right to call back whoever has been accused, and we know that. We'll see how
Oh
that
God,
goes.
Charlie. And the whole world, the whole country is watching. Shall we put people up in parliament to represent us in our constituencies? And there we are. They're being investigated for bribery allegations. Interesting.
Well, I guess we all have difficulties and are fallible.
Yeah.
No one is without sin.
It's true, but it's sad. It's sad. Oh, it's
Well,
sad.
we have to take a break. When we come back, we'll be doing sports, and
Yeah.
Benedict also will be here with the latest.
And we will share the Malawian story with you. We haven't said
Experience.
anything really.
Not at all.
We haven't. Okay, something to learn from Malawi in a bit. Stay with us.